Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. I'm Mike Amos. He's Bill Rice Jr. As we start we got a phone coming in here. We'll be getting that in a minute. I see him in the background. Let's see who we pick up here.
Tell him to call back.
Mike Amos coming in here on Zoom this morning. There he is, his pretty face. You got the face for a radio, Mike. You're looking good, man. You own.
We're not getting the line. It was just not ringing over here.
Right now, you know what? The phones are not on.
The phones are off.
So that has a lot to do with it.
What Mike does is he's on Zoom video, but to get the audio right, he calls in.
Well, then, of course, right now there's no
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Napa Know-How. Right here, right now, it's a double dose of savings. Yes. Summer clearance event savings. Plus Labor Day savings. 2020 Wranglers start at $289 a month. 2020 Ram 1500. Save it to $17,377. The biggest selection. Better discount. Best deal. New 2020 Jeep Cherokee. Save up to $10,000. Save over $9,800 on new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Bad credit, no credit, it doesn't matter. Shop us at PremierTroy.com and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Napa Know-How. Right here, right now, it's a double dose of savings. Yes. Summer clearance event savings. Plus Labor Day savings. 2020 Wranglers start at $289 a month. 2020 Ram 1500. Save it to $17,377. The biggest selection. Better discount. Best deal. New 2020 Jeep Cherokee. Save up to $10,000. Save over $9,800 on new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Bad credit, no credit, it doesn't matter. Shop us at PremierTroy.com and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Welcome back to Today in L.A. I'm Mike Amos. He's Bill Rice Jr. And on Zoom, all the way from Great Beach, Florida, is one Mike Amos. That's right. Make sure you got all 5 fingers this morning as we start a Thursday. Thank goodness it's Thursday. Everybody says thank goodness it's Friday, but I love Thursdays too. And it is a warm, overcast day in Troy, Alabama. We're speaking to you from our studios at Troy Cablevision on South Brundage Street in Troy, Alabama. If you're watching on Facebook today, on Facebook live today and across the country live today. And then the marvels of ingenuity.
Technology.
Of technology and ingenuity.
You think of all the things that have inventions we've had in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
I use it all the time, the internet all the time. It's just amazing to me. Any question you have, you can Google it and find the answer in about 1 second. It's amazing.
No question about it.
Things that you used to have to go to the library and search for hours to find, you can find in literally seconds.
And these guys, I'm gonna put chill bumps down their backs this morning. And the partisan across the way is lifting the youngster from Troy up off the ground. Big Bill Rice had made the tackle, and of course I saw Bill's mama and daddy after the game Saturday. Mary, my wife.
Can you do a Coach Bryant impersonation?
We'll
You look kind of like Coach Bryant.
yeah, you're right. They Gain, what do you want, Gain? Oh, Coach, I just wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas. No, I can do a John Forney. Thank you, Doug Layton, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, as the Crimson Tide of Alabama go up against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Of course, Vanderbilt in their brilliant gold helmets with gold pants and black and white jerseys, and Alabama in its traditional red jerseys with red helmets and white trousers.
You nailed John Forney.
Coach, snap back, touchdown, the kick is up, it is high enough, it is far enough, it is good, and with timeout on the field, the score, Alabama 44, Auburn 14.
Who is the lawyer in Montgomery that he co-hosts a TV show up there that does such great impersonations?
Yeah, he's my buddy. He can do a lot of those.
He does a great George Wallace and a great Keith Jackson.
Yeah. Coach Bryant's trying to open those potato chips this morning with that Coca-Cola, And I like this. This ball game is brought to you by Texaco. Trust your car to the man who wears the big red Texaco star and Sky Cheese Supreme. And by our good folks at Coca-Cola and Golden Plate Potato Chips. Great pair, says the bear.
The story of Coca-Cola is also the story of unbelievably good marketing and advertising through the decades. I've never been to the Coca-Cola Museum in Atlanta, but I'd love to go through it, and I understand it's just full of all the great signs and advertising they've had through the decades.
And where people don't realize Coca-Cola came out of Atlanta.
Well,
that's where a lot of them got rich, with buying stock in Coca-Cola.
It was bottled in Atlanta, is what the story is. I remember watching a show about it.
Oh, we hear these stories of people that were selling the stock door to door in the South. And I know several people that loaded up on that Coca-Cola stock, and they're still multi-millionaires today because of it.
That's Miss Pearl Peacock. She was loaded with Coca-Cola stock. That's Mr. So-and-so. You could hear it all the time about people that bought stock.
I'll tell you who I've heard is
They're over on Fairview Street, Orange Street.
The Woody Bartlett Ranch on Pike Road.
Yeah.
That family was big in the Coca-Cola stock. His sister is Elmore Insco, who's one of the sweetest ladies in Montgomery. But I've always heard that's where a lot of their big money came from.
Your niece has done really well with Coca-Cola. Allison Amos, Joel and Linda Amos' daughter, has worked.
Well, she worked for Coca-Cola for a long time, and want to wish them good luck this morning. They're heading out to the great mountains of the West, and they're looking forward to that. Taking their daddy, Joel and Linda. They're going on a big trip, and I know they're excited about it. And I've been to the Tetons, but I've never been I've been through the Rockies, but not there to visit,
Talking about Woody Bartlett, he's famous for his Bartlett International Airport on Pike Road, the little grass strip. He has beautiful land in Pike Road, but he's got two other ranches, one in Texas and one in Montana, I think, that they say are just beautiful.
He and Pat Dye were good friends, and he's got his own right out there off of the Pike Road. He's got his own facility there for ranching and rodeo.
I've been
and all
to
that.
it. Yeah, his land is where you have the Pike Road Arts and Crafts show across the street. But he's got this little Catalina Mexican bar on his property that is really, really cool. It's neat.
And of course, a lot of folks in that part of the country have done well. Pike Road is now becoming one of the fastest growing towns in Alabama, if not the fastest growing.
I would want to know what's faster growing if it's not Pike Road. I lived in a big neighborhood in Pike Road, and I thought it was a pretty big neighborhood when I moved in about 8 or 9 years ago. And by the time I left 2 years ago to move back to Troy, that neighborhood had doubled in size. What used to be a woods became a one road, and then they just shoot roads off. All about developing neighborhoods. Yeah. They shoot roads off of roads and off of roads, and there were always 9 or 10 houses under construction at any one time, at least.
Well, I tell you what.
Dad's sold more property in Pike County than anybody about real estate. I'm like, he did pretty good.
Well, about 90-something lots, I reckon, on Crow Hill alone.
How long did it take you to sell those lots?
Oh, well, what we did, we sold them one at a time. We sold North George Wallace Drive first, and then we
did it right, and then
and then the next.
We had Briarwood Road, which was real
Briarwood and Sweetbriar, and Old Cabin Road.
So what do y'all do? You've got to do all the curbing and under the gutter work and all that stuff too, and utilities.
Back in the old days, developers.
Sewer lines and everything.
Oh yeah, it gets into a lot of financing once you start building roads, and that's why you don't see a whole lot of them going up right now. The market's going to get that way one day, but
I'll get back to Pike Road. What's the neighborhood Providence that's right before you get to the Pike Road, Vaughn Road intersection. There's a big neighborhood subdivision off to your right before that CVS.
Yeah.
And when we moved to Pike Road, there were 2 or 3 houses in there, but the previous developers had gone bankrupt, which happens all the time, bless their hearts. They take the risk and the timing's off. And so those houses had been in there for years. I mean, the roads were covered up with weeds and nobody had done it. And so obviously what happened is somebody came in and got it out of bankruptcy, and it went from those 2 or 3 houses, that looked like zombie houses, hadn't been occupied for years, to within about 2 years, man, there's 400 houses in that neighborhood now. Amazing.
But this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass, and they've got a super sale going on right now. And, of course, tomorrow, right here on this show, yours truly, along with Bill Rice and Jason Gregory and our good friend, the owner and operator of Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks, bring you the Dodge Ram and we'll bring you the Picket Show, brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep and Ram trucks right here on our
And we're going
show.
to find out what winners are made of.
We sure are. We'll be giving you high school score, chance to pick along with us high school and college games coming up this weekend. Still not a huge.
Of course, today we're all UAB Blazer fans. My twin sister Camille Amos Sept is an employee at UAB. She's a director of development of arts and sciences there, and I took 4 classes at UAB, so I'm very fond of UAB as well. They traveled to Miami. They traveled to Miami tonight. Bill Clark, of course, has done a great job at UAB. Manny Diaz went 6-7 in his first year at the U, they like to call it. So, interesting game tonight.
I just can't be for them. They're the enemy, Mike. They're the enemy. South Alabama's the enemy. Why in the world do I want to see UAB enhance their program when we want to enhance Troy's program? Shame on you, son, for rooting for UAB.
Coach Campbell shook your hand one night at South Alabama coach.
Well, he's a good friend. He's a good friend.
And he said, "Come on down."
I said, "No." I said, "Steve, listen, man. You and I go way back, and I love you, but listen, I can't root for you because when you win, it enhances your program over our program." So I put whoever plays for the Trojans of Troy, and of course they hit the field next.
A local kid though, Kobe Griffin from Charles Anderson High School plays for UAB.
Yeah, I know it. I would, and I've always known. His daddy grew up with you, didn't he?
Well, I grew up with Coffee, who was a great player.
Coffee Griffin.
I played with Shane, who was another really great player, defensive end. He was 2 years older than me, so the Griffins have always been good football players.
I remember Shane. He's a great
I coached
player.
some real good ones myself. That played for my teams. What was the name of that team, Michael? The red.
The big red thrashing machine.
Yeah, the big red thrashing machine.
We had red Clemson paws on our helmet.
Yeah, had paws on our helmets. Our cheerleaders came out doing all kinds of somersaults and whatever, and of course we made it fun for everybody.
Burger King after the games, after all the victories, and we closed down Burger King. It's a lot of fun.
But I did learn my lesson, though. We were stopped at a red light on the bypass, and a bunch of racket was going on in the back of my truck. Back then you could ride in the back of a pickup truck.
You wouldn't do that today, would you?
Well, I turned around, and there was one of my kids had jumped out of the truck. We were talking about on Highway 231, picking up a $1 bill that he saw laying on the street. And he picked up a $1 bill. You remember that?
Yeah.
That probably scared you.
Hey, let me tell you this. Not only did they stop riding on the back of my truck, but they stopped and never went close to the bypass.
I bet you almost had a heart attack, didn't you?
That was part of coaching growing up in Troy back in the day.
You had to take everybody home.
3 or 4 players home after practice. We wouldn't get home until about an hour after practice.
You know who else does that people don't know is the high school coaches and assistant coaches. They do that all the time. Yeah. They go pick them up and take them to practice and take them home too.
And I did that for a long time, and I can remember taking, having to walk by some of these parents, and they didn't say a word, but you could tell on their face, what are you doing keeping my boy out this long on a school night? What do you think? Yeah. And some of them are well-to-do people down in Northwest Florida, Mike. Some of those boys, but it turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened to them.
Think of the memories they had.
The granddaddy who waited on them so many times to get on practice congratulated me for years to come on the kind of program we ran there in Troy.
You're creating happy memories. That's why one of the reasons I wanted football to take place this year is, this is great memories that are going to last a lifetime for these young people. Don't take that away from them.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this.
Talking about it, Joe Burrow, who was #1 pick, and apparently is going to start for the Cincinnati Bengals. A lot of people had him projected in the 6th to the 7th round. So look what 1 year of college football can do to a player. I mean, that made him a multi-millionaire set for life.
Oh yeah.
Just being able to play that one more year at LSU, won the Heisman, they won the national championships. You never know what a year can do for a college kid.
So we got a big game tonight as UAB of Birmingham travels to Miami to play the University of Miami. Do they play in the Dolphin Stadium, Mike, or where they play?
Yeah, they play in the Dolphin Stadium.
And of course,
where is the University of Miami located? Trivia question.
Coral Gables.
So the University of Miami is not in Miami.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it's a heavily populated area, and of course, somebody told me about 5 or 6 million people live in that general area. Talking about a 50-mile area, and just full of football players. And a lot of people think that Miami should win all the time because of the talent they have, but sometimes it might be hard to get that talent,
Well, was it Max yesterday that said there's about...
It's going to be interesting tonight.
50 7A high schools within a 50-mile radius of Coral Gables. But University of Miami is a private institution that I think only has an enrollment of about 13,000 students.
That's right. And I'll tell you something else about them. They don't draw that well. They might draw this well tonight. They're probably giving away tickets. Wouldn't you think, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're only going to have, what I've read, they're only going to allow 13,000 fans at the game, and UAB had 12,500.
I've always, people always,
fans will not be that big of a factor, I would think.
Well, let me just say this, and I'm not trying to make you chuckle out of your seat this morning, but it's the truth. I've been asked so many times, it says, why don't those students come on into the game when the game starts? Why don't they come on into the game? And I said to them, well, let me answer this. Would you rather be with at a football game, watching two teams play football, or would you rather be out in the tailgate area, standing next to a beautiful girl drinking an ice cold beverage? Which would you rather do first?
Tough question.
And most people will say, "Hey, I'm gonna stand out in this tailgate area and have a big time."
It's not the students I worry about.
I'll go in the stadium in the second quarter.
It's the adults that don't come into the stadium that's always got me. They're having too much fun to come into.
Exactly right. No question about it.
To be honest, some of them can't come into the stadium because they've had too much.
Yeah.
Some are out there passed out.
Well, since they're doing away with tailgating, and what are they going to do at Ole Miss, at Auburn? What are they going to do at Alabama? And tailgating at Troy, they've already taken away the Trojan Walk, which was one of the big.
All the walks are done with
the Auburn Tiger Walk.
Alabama and Auburn kind of dropped the ball. A lot of SEC teams are coming out now. LSU came out yesterday. They're going to have 25% capacity. Auburn and Alabama have already come out and said they're only going to do 20%. So that means LSU will still have 26,000 people at their games.
I thought the same thing, Michael. That why did they limit themselves to 20,000 fans when they could have just as easily had 5,000 extra fans? Might help you out, right? Financially and crowd noise.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting to see how some of these other teams still.
I wonder if they could change that, or it's probably they can't. There's probably all these logistics involved with the ticketing. But yeah, I thought, why you got a 101,000 seat stadium? Couldn't you put 25,000 in there just as easily as 20,000?
Mike, tonight.
I was seeing tickets on StubHub yesterday for the Alabama-Georgia game. Already $1,000 a ticket for Alabama, Georgia, and Tuscaloosa.
Oh man, that's unreal. But something I'm trying to find out, and Brent, if you're watching this morning, let us know something on when or can people buy tickets to road games? Will there be tickets available for Middle Tennessee? Will there be tickets available, believe it or not, for Provo, Utah to play Brigham Young?
Well, we saw what they're going to do. They're going to allow 6,000 fans, which isn't so there won't be many fans, tickets for Troy folks. So they got a 53,000 seat stadium, and they're letting 6,000 in.
Are you talking about Brigham Young?
Mm-hmm. I read that.
Okay, I was wondering about that. So
it's gonna be interesting. They had a huge snowstorm out west through Utah and through Colorado. It could be possible snow out there.
You mean their stadium just holds 53,000?
Mm-hmm.
Just holds 53.
Approximately.
We're so spoiled out here, where we have these 80 and 90 and 100,000 seat stadiums, and Mike.
We had a game canceled already this week because of COVID-19. You had SMU and TCU. It's not going to be played.
Oh boy, that's a big rival game too.
Yeah, apparently they played 100 times. I didn't realize how big a rivalry it really was. So that's sad. That game's going to be on Friday night, actually.
Well, what was the reason for canceling that?
COVID-19 protocol.
Well, they just had so many cases, or what?
So many people test, and even though they're asymptomatic.
Hey, did you see Nick Saban's statement on AL.com? I've been begging somebody to say, somebody tell us how many of these athletes are actually asymptomatic, that are testing positive. And I emailed the writer for AL.com, Michael Casagrande, and said, why don't you ask this question? And he apparently did. And Nick Saban said, that almost all of the players that have tested positive at Alabama are asymptomatic. He said they're not sick. They're not really sick. And then he went further and he said, we're focusing so much on these positive cases, we forget that none of these students are being hospitalized. And he said the actual number of people hospitalized in Tuscaloosa has gone down pretty significantly since the students returned. So that, the other argument is, well, maybe the students aren't really sick or at risk, but they're putting at risk other people in the community.
That's right.
But, the Druid City Hospital has numbers on COVID admissions, and since August 13, they weren't very high anyway, but they've gone down by 26% since the students have been back. So apparently the students are not giving it to other people in the community.
My little grandchild has to wear a mask in her little classes in the first grade at Mountain Brook Elementary. And of course, hey, here's your mask right here. You need to wear it if you go outside the premises of your own property. Of course, Mike, something I wanted people to know a little bit about.
I was at a restaurant last night in Great Beach, and my goodness, there must have been 150 people sitting outside. Restaurants down here have made so much more money because they moved all these tents outside of restaurants, anywhere you had coffee, even in parking lots. And there was a great bluegrass band playing last night.
Hey.
We're just everywhere, 6 feet apart.
Was Red Bar busy?
This is the Red Bar. This is a great seafood company.
Oh, okay.
Has really good seafood. But I'm just amazed how much money and how much profit they've made by moving everything outside and bringing in all these big wedding tents.
Yeah. And you can't bring your car in. You park your car a couple of blocks away.
Who missed out? My brother, Bobby.
We walk to restaurants like that.
My little brother, Bobby, was in the equipment tent rental, wedding rental business in Pensacola for several years. He sold the business a couple years ago. And, he rented anything, but especially for big events and weddings. But his big money maker was renting big tents, outdoor tents. So you're right. Right now, if he still had that business, he'd be doing very, very, very well renting tents.
No question about it. Mike, before we go, we got Kim May waiting to come on, and we look forward to her being on our show, and we're going to be talking about some things that are very important in our part of the country. But we want to mention something about it. We make a big to-do over UAB and their coach. Boy, their coach has influenced a lot of other coaches in this part of the state.
No, just locally, you got Chuck Dunn, coached with, he coached with Clark so many places, Prattville. He coached with him at South Alabama, coached with him at Jacksonville State, coached with him at UAB before they shut down the program. McCoy coached for him at Prattville, Charles Henderson's coach. And then Dwight Ward's son, not Brad. Well, maybe it was Brad. I know he coached for Clark at Prattville too. So there's a lot of local guys, yeah.
No question about it that were involved with him, and of course, he's from the old school, great guy, and he's the old country boy approach. But buddy, he can coach football. Don't you agree?
Yeah, we need to mention this. This was unbelievable last night. If you're a Braves fan, the Braves scored 29 runs, beat the Marlins last night, 29-9.
Oh boy!
Second most runs since 1900.
Is that in the major leagues? The most since 1900?
It is one short of tying the major league record of 30. But Braves had this guy who's kind of a journeyman. They picked him up a couple years ago named Adam Duvall. He had 3 home runs.
Oh boy!
Again last night, but he had also hit 3 home runs like about 8 days ago against the Red Sox.
Yeah.
So he's the second player in Major League history within 10 days to hit three home runs.
How many runs did he knock in? Do you know?
He knocked in 9. Freddie Freeman knocked in 6.
Oh, did he?
But it was unbelievable how they just kept on scoring and kept on scoring. Their biggest inning for his runs was 11. But 29-9, the Braves win last night. Can you imagine if you were a fan of that game, how exciting that would have been?
How many hits did the Braves get? Do you know? How many hits did they get?
Braves had 23 hits.
23 hits.
Well, so then the other team got 9 runs, so that's 38 runs in one baseball game.
That's a shame nobody got to see it, though.
I wish that. That is something. That's like Troy scoring 252 in basketball.
We're going to take a break. We're going to bring Kim May in here in a moment, and we'll be back with more of Today in L.A.
At At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Right here, right now. It's a double dose of savings. Yes. Summer clearance event savings. Plus Labor Day savings. 2020 Wranglers. Start at $289 a month. 2020 Ram 1500. Save it to $17,377. The biggest selection. Better discount. Best deal. New 2020 Jeep Cherokee. Save up to $10,000. Save over $9,800 on new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Bad credit, no credit, it doesn't matter. Shop us at PremierTroy.com and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
By its very nature, doing big things takes resilience and strength. You did the hard part. You did it, and will go farther still. Max is proud to be your champion, removing obstacles that get in your way. We make technology easy, saving and funds access uncomplicated, and provide help when and how you want it. You control your money with expert guidance from Max Credit Union. Smart money made simple.
You're right. You're there.
Okay. Good morning.
Back to our show and the Beauty and the Beast. The Beast just left the panel of the podium here, and the Beauty Kim May is with us, of course, with the Salvation Army and your big event, which was postponed a few months, but you're bringing it back.
We are. We're having it.
Tell me about what's going to happen.
Okay. Everybody knows about our Indy Bowls Luncheon. This is our 11th year, and we're having it on September 18th, which is Friday week.
September 18th.
Mm-hmm. At Bush Memorial Family Life Center. I brought you a flyer here.
Yes, ma'am.
That's
great.
for you.
Yeah.
It's from 11 to 2. It's come and go. So we try to fit in everyone's lunch hour. You can stay if you want to, but you can come and go. We also have takeout available, and this year, because of COVID, our takeout, if you don't want to come in and sit down because of COVID, you can get your takeout order. We will let you choose 3 different soups to take out for takeout.
Great. That's great, yeah.
And if you want to stay, your $20 donation, you can have all the soup you want. We want you to leave full. We don't want you to leave hungry. We have dessert, beverage.
That's right, yeah.
And, of course, you get to pick out a handcrafted bowl.
Yeah.
And I brought a few samples.
Now that one in front of you, Coach Bryant would have loved to put his rice. Would have loved to put his potato chips in this bowl. Show it to everybody.
Now this is one of our bid bowls. Will be on our celebrity bid table, made by local potter Millie Biggie.
Who Millie?
Biggie.
Okay, yeah.
That's a bid bowl.
And of course, she comes from another country, doesn't she?
No.
Oh, is it not the same one then? Is it?
No. She's from right here.
One of the neighbor of mine, Friggy.
My daughter's name's Millie.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
Sure is.
Now, I'm going to show the bid bowls first.
Okay.
Okay, this is another one that will be on the bid table.
Oh, yeah,
and
this was good looking.
This was made by a novice potter, myself.
You did that?
Yes.
That is beautiful, yes.
Not a professional.
That's beautiful.
And
you know what? That would be perfect for sticking pins in.
And this one was made by Drew Black.
Okay.
She's a professional potter. And looks just like a tree, doesn't it?
Yeah. Is that Walter Black's grandchild?
No, it's his mother.
Oh, his mother. Okay, I got you.
And these here are just some samples of the ones that you get to pick from the table to take home.
Sure.
With your ticket. Plus, you get to eat all the soup you want.
That's right.
And we're going to have about 20 different soups.
Yeah. Let me ask you a personal question. Will it be any of Lester's chili be on the
Absolutely.
Menu? So,
we're going to have Lester's chili.
Lester's Flats world famous chili.
Yes, and you see, they're all sizes, all colors, all different shapes. And we'll have tables full of them.
So when you walk in, you'll have just tables full of these beautiful dishes, and you just pick out what you want. Now, some people pick out the deep ones so they'll get a lot of soup, but they keep going back and forth, can't they?
Well, actually, most people do not eat their soup out of their bowl.
They don't.
We have we have disposable bowls for the soup, so you just get to take this home.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll have plenty of dessert.
Yeah.
Carter's making his famous bread
I
pudding.
saw Carter yesterday. He was in Burge yesterday, and looked like he'd been on hard times. He looked like he'd been working hard somewhere. Carter's
Hard worker.
Got the work ethic of very few people in this part of the country.
Does Carter put raisins in his bread pudding? I'm not a big fan of raisins in bread pudding for some reason.
I think he makes one with raisins and one without.
All right, come right here. Come right here. Raisins with your bread pudding.
Because of that reason, not everybody likes raisins, so he makes one with, one without.
Yeah.
Also, Carter made a beautiful bid bowl, but it was so fragile, I was afraid to bring it. I didn't want to break it. But Carter's a big supporter. He helps out always with everything.
Also, your camp stew guy.
Yes.
Will you have camp stew?
We will, and I'll be back. We're going to have that the first week of November.
Right. Boy, I'm going to buy several of them. I tell you, I'm running short right now.
I did some steak cookout one time. That was really good.
Well, I helped him with that.
When I was in Troy.
Over at the Collie Complex. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I helped with that.
And of course, now tell us about what cost. What kind of cost do we have?
It's
to
$20.
Get in? $20.
A $20 donation, and you
tax
get
deductible to the Salvation Army.
And you get all the soup you want. You get dessert. You get drink, and you get to pick out a bowl. Yeah. And we have entertainment.
Great.
Ed Watley will be
Watley.
Yeah, he'll be picking and singing.
A rodeo king. Well, I'll tell you this. Now, I want to say this. 15 years? How many years have y'all been doing
This is the 11th year for the empty bowls.
11th years. And whoever came up with this idea, it was genius, because first of all, people got to eat. You know, they're going to have to eat lunch. And where are you going to go and find all these different delicious recipes of soups and stews and whatever? You're not going to find anything better than that. And then when you pay for it for $20, you write it to the Salvation Army and you write it off. So
absolutely,
it's a great meal, and you can say, you can tell your whole office, say, let's go eat.
Well, the concept, behind empty bowls is it's supposed to symbolize a soup kitchen.
Yeah.
And the benefit from this fundraiser, it's our second largest fundraiser, benefits our food bank on site. And the concept is we don't want anyone in our community having an empty bowl.
Yeah.
We don't want anybody to go hungry. So.
And of course, it's coming up on the Christmas season, and this is a big time to start getting all your items into the store at Salvation Army, located on South Brundage Street, right here in Troy. But your bell, we start looking and thinking about bell ringers and people that can support the Salvation Army, because it does so much. And the thing I like so much about Salvation Army is the money stays here. I mean, the money raised will stay here to help people come in.
Right here at our service center.
On a daily basis, tell us what kind of people that you see, or the people that you see at the Salvation Army. Some people might be short of money, or short of food, short of clothing, or whatever.
Well, we help with rent and utilities also.
Yeah.
Food, clothing, furniture, lots of different things. And right now we're very active helping with the Hurricane Laura. Yeah. I'll probably be called out. We go for 14 days after my fundraiser.
Yeah.
So, we're busy with that.
Go to some disaster like Louisiana or something like that?
Yes, I'll have to go. And sir, we're probably working on the food trucks, serving meals. But, yes, we're very busy.
A lot of people still without power down there. I was watching some stuff about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, it's got to be
bad.
tough. You think of it. Let me just say this, and this is what kind of spoiled human being I am. If my air conditioner went off tonight, I would go check into a motel. I mean, that's how sorry I am. I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it down. And these people are without power for months.
And my colleagues that are out there now, they have to live in the same conditions.
Oh, man.
You know, to help. They have no power. They're sleeping on cots. It's like going to camp.
Of course,
And-
you know,
Can people help? Like, are y'all going to take a truck down there full of supplies, or can people help out with that? How's that
No.
gonna work?
Well, actually, they ask at this time if you want to help write a check. Then they can get what they need because they get so many clothes. They have a hard time. They don't have anywhere to put them right after a hurricane.
Yeah.
You know, everything's gone.
Yeah.
So they ask that you just write a check and see. I forwarded it on for Hurricane Laura, and the Salvation Army uses it to buy what they need to give the victims.
Well, I tell you,
Cleaning supplies
It's so
and
vital to our
food.
community, and especially that we're turning the corner toward the end of the year. We need people to donate and to, of course, tax deductible contributions to help our fellow man, and that's what our duties are. You know, your camp stew, and you do have camp stew, and you do have milk and things like that.
In the
available
food bank.
In your food bank.
Yeah.
So
It's dry milk because
Yeah.
we don't have refrigeration, but you know, you can fix your
Maybe y'all
cereal.
could come up with an idea to have like adult bibs for all the people eating soup that spill it all over themselves.
yeah, exactly.
Well, we usually don't have that problem.
You think we can do something like that, or some kind of like little apron as well?
Aprons, yes.
Yeah,
Bibs, I don't know about.
Bibs, yeah, exactly.
I always thought that was a good idea for restaurants because everybody always has stains on their ties and on their buttons.
That is
and
true.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of public speaking.
Dad just tells a good joke about that.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of public speaking, and if a lot of times I'd come on the first. They say the best for last, but I would come on the first part of the afternoon session after everybody got through eating lunch, and a guy asked me before I went on the podium what I had for lunch. I said, well, I had a hamburger with mayonnaise, mustard, and ketchup. Looking at my tie,
That's a good one. My husband always had spills on his tie. But
yeah.
before we move on, I do want to mention that we do have sponsors for this event.
Okay, great.
So we appreciate those sponsors.
Tell us some of them if you'd like to, or do you not want to?
Well, they'll be on our program.
Okay, great.
On
And
our
we do appreciate.
yes.
It's one of the great places to give, no question about it. And this is on down the line, but with the stew, Mike, it's the best way in the world to not only fill your freezer full of the best camp stew you ever eaten in your life, but let's just say there's $10 a quart for the camp stew. Well, how about giving me 10 quarts for $100, and I'll write that off, and I'm going to eat camp stew for the next 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, it
And
freezes
of course,
great.
in the winter is so delicious and so forth. But this is a great event and a great fundraiser for the Salvation Army, and it's also a good social event because you'll see people there you haven't seen in a long time.
And we will have be adhering to the COVID-19 guidelines.
Yes, okay.
Our servers will have masks and gloves.
Exactly right. The
food will be
this is what you
served.
wear into the facility.
Yes, we'll have our table space. We'll have some outside, and like I say, we have the available for you to get your soup to go.
How has the epidemic? How has it affected you and what y'all are trying to do?
Well, yeah,
There's a lot of people in there buying stuff, I would think.
yeah, we do have a lot of customers. We were closed.
Down on their luck as far as financial.
Now we were closed for about 6 weeks, which hurt us.
Yeah.
Because we're self-sufficient,
Sure,
we didn't have
sure.
that income. And also right now we can't pick up, we can't go into people's houses. They won't allow us to. We can only pick up if people put their furniture in the yard.
It's hard to put a freezer out in the
That's
yard.
correct.
Isn't it?
So that's kind of been a hardship, but hopefully that will change soon.
But now, being a college town, a lot of bedding, it goes in a hurry because a lot of these kids coming in here, instead of buying new bedding, they buy bedding from y'all. Is that right?
Well, we don't sell mattresses.
You don't? Okay.
They won't let us.
Okay, I got you.
Not anymore.
No,
No
used
more.
to, though. Used to.
We
didn't
used
you?
to.
Yeah.
But we can't sell mattresses anymore. And right now, like I said, we can only pick up furniture if it's sitting in the yard, which
Yeah.
not everybody wants to do that. I understand that. But hopefully that will change back soon. Also,
what are the hours up there?
at the store, at my store, 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday.
Yeah. Monday through Saturday. Open all day on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Man, oh man, that's great.
One thing I do want to mention while I'm here. As you know, kettle season's coming up,
Yes.
and I need a kettle coordinator. I need some help.
Yeah.
So if anybody's out there that has some free time, would like to help us with kettles, I really need the help. So just give me a call at the Salvation Army or come by the store. It's 808-1069.
Well, I will tell you this. I will work for you this year. You let me know some different times. So put me down
I will.
as a bell ringer. Hey, I don't know why, but more people come to my bell than anybody else.
He is good. But I need someone to run the kettles, like set up the equipment,
Yeah.
make sure everybody shows up, that kind of thing. So I need some help.
You know,
I'm
so-
only one person. I try, but I can't be everywhere at
That's right.
one time.
Now, these soups will be hot, served hot.
Yes.
And, of course, the chili, the world-famous chili, and I'm sure there are a lot of people that say, golly, going to let her go without giving her daddy's recipe. But no, I will not let her get away with
I'll
that.
tell you what I'll do. I'll make a deal with you.
All right.
I'll have that chili there at the Empty Bowls, and it says Lester's famous
Yes.
chili.
Yes.
I'll put the recipe with it.
All right, wonderful. And it is
How about
delicious.
that?
And it is delicious. And no telling how many times I've been riding down the road. And Sonny Williford, my dear friend who's not with us anymore, was one
Yeah.
of your dad's favorite
Yes.
people. And what was that he had that was world
The
famous?
Frito pie.
The Frito pie.
Yeah.
He said, let's go to Lester to get a Frito pie. And when you walked in, you might see Wiley Sanders, or you might see a top country group in there.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of people they drive out of their way to see Lester's, but not just to see Lester, but to eat his chili and his what is that famous
The Frito pie.
Frito pie. And what are you going to do about it?
Well, normally I have the stuff for the Frito pie, but because of COVID, if I can't get the individual packets,
Yeah.
we'll just have to have chili.
Exactly right. Well, I tell you what, you do a great job, and we appreciate it, and appreciate you coming on our show today. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it will come up Friday, a week from today.
Absolutely.
Which go ahead and mark your calendar today for that date, and then another thing, at any time you can drop a donation by, which is so important.
Yes. And everyone that helps us, my co-chair, Debbie Green, Donna
Yeah.
McLaney Jones,
Yes.
everybody that helps us, that volunteers, that donates, just thank you. We couldn't do what we do without the help of the community.
No question about it, and we appreciate all of them. Another reason Troy, of course, we're a college town, and some college kids have needs too. But being on Highway 231, a lot of folks come through here on hard times where they don't have enough gas to go the extra 50 miles, or they don't have any room to spend the night, or don't have any milk for the babies, or Pampers, or diapers. Any hard knocks comes to you. Is that
That's right. That's what we're there for.
And you do a wonderful job, and you've been with the company how long?
Almost 14
And it
years.
is a worldwide company, isn't it?
Yes.
And that is amazing what you do.
Well, it's actually a church. Did you
What
know
now?
that? It's actually a church.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
But now I know that a lot of you people wear uniforms.
Yep.
Do you wear uniforms
No.
sometimes?
I just work for them. I'm not a member. But the actual ones that wear the uniform, they're ordained ministers.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
But I tell you what, it's a great program, and again, the thing that I like so much about it is once you donate to the program, whether it's financial or whether it's items that you want to give away, it stays right here in Pike County.
Yes, unless under the circumstances like this hurricane, if you put on there for Hurricane Laura,
Sure.
then that's where it goes.
Exactly right.
It goes to help with the victims of the
Well, I
hurricane.
tell you what, looking forward to seeing you Friday week. You're welcome to come back on that week if you would like to.
I
And
appreciate it.
we appreciate you so much.
Thank
Kim
you.
May, ladies and gentlemen, one of what I call one unsung hero is Kim May. No question about it.
No, I'm no hero, but thank you.
We'll be back with college games and high school games coming up. We're going to talk to you about it once we come back. We'll be back to Today in L.A.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Right here, right now. It's a double dose of savings. Yes. Summer clearance event savings. Plus Labor Day savings. 2020 Wranglers. Start at $289 a month. 2020 Ram 1500. Save it to $17,377. The biggest selection. Better discount. Best deal. New 2020 Jeep Cherokee. Save up to $10,000. Save over $9,800 on new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Bad credit, no credit, it doesn't matter. Shop us at PremierTroy.com and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
By its very nature, doing big things takes resilience and strength. You did the hard part. You did it, and will go farther still. Max is proud to be your champion, removing obstacles that get in your way. We make technology easy, saving and funds access uncomplicated, and provide help when and how you want it. You control your money with expert guidance from Max Credit Union. Smart money made simple.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Trust Company. Back to Troy Bank and Trust Company, ladies and gentlemen, the only bank you'll ever need with 13 locations to choose from. And now with the emergence of First National Bank of Troy Brundage, Troy Bank and Trust Company is now a billion-dollar bank, and we appreciate them so much. And, of course, they have bought out the great folks down at Brundage who were in the banking business for a long time, and of course, Troy.
And now we're gonna try to figure out who all has, who has the most millions of that 1 billion. Let's name names in Pike County today who bank with Troy Bank and Trust.
Well, I tell you what, there's no question about it, and of course they've got banks all over the southeast part of this state, and we appreciate them so much. And of course, the emergence of First National Bank that was bought by Troy Bank and Trust Company now makes that bank a
getting back
bank.
to the Salvation Army, and this Hurricane Laura is not getting enough attention nationwide, I don't think. I saw some pictures yesterday of people sleeping in cots and sleeping bags in a Walmart parking lot. They have nowhere else to stay. So, I mean, there's power crews that have been over there 2 weeks trying to restore power and still haven't done it. So
That's what I don't understand that either. They keep on showing footage of Lake Charles. People don't realize Lake Charles is 40 miles
inland. Yeah.
They're not showing those areas that were really, just devastated.
Yeah.
Right there on the coast and in between Lake Charles. So I'm always trying to I couldn't really figure that one out.
They said if that would have been, they said that if that had been a little bit more west, west, it would have been the worst hurricane of all time. Did you know that? Have you ever heard that?
It would have hit Houston. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're really very fortunate that the Lord spared that area. Of course, we got a lot of football coming up. Of course, the big headlines out of Athens, Georgia, Mike, no more Uga on the sidelines. Uga, that ugly bulldog, will not be seen on the sidelines.
Well, that's the first I've heard of that. But
I know that breaks your heart, doesn't it?
I guess dogs can get COVID-19. What is the word on that?
I don't know, but
probably just keeping the handlers off the sidelines. They want everybody off the sidelines.
I'll tell you one Auburn receiver that doesn't like Uga. You remember that?
Yeah, that was.
Boy, that old Uga got a big old mouth too.
Yeah, you got Smokey at Tennessee. You got Uga at Georgia.
Yeah.
You've got the Mississippi State Bulldog. It's got a name too. I can't think of it.
The Tiger.
Definitely.
Mike the Tiger, is that him in LSU?
LSU.
Then you got the big Longhorn in Texas.
You had the line at UNA back in the Troy Division II days.
Remember when the Longhorn in Texas, he almost gored the Uga. Remember that?
Yeah. But give me that big Colorado buffalo. That buffalo is an imposing, probably weighs 3 or 4 tons, doesn't he?
College football has all these traditions that are just spectacular that the NFL doesn't have.
But none greater than the eagle that flies over the Auburn Tigers.
That is the best one.
There is a better scene in college football. That is it. And for a long time, I never saw it in person. People were telling me about it. But you got to see it in person to see an eagle fly down all the way from the top of a stadium, fly down and keep coming and coming and coming. And all these people are screaming and screaming and screaming. And he lands right on the spot the guy's pointing to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the great things in college football.
Auburn's got to be one of the few programs in the country that has 2 different nicknames. They're the War Eagles, they're the Tigers. I mean, I'm trying to think of anybody else. I mean, Virginia Tech's the Hokies, the Turkeys.
Yeah, they did change their name.
Well, you got the Alabama Crimson Tide, but the mascot is an elephant. So.
Yeah, I know it. Where did that elephant come from? I wonder how they got the big red tech.
They all come from sports writers wrote some article at one time where they mentioned a pachyderm or a football team that's rolling like a Crimson Tide and it sticks.
How about Tulane? The
Green Wave.
The Green Wave, but also were called Greenies. Can you believe that? And how about Mississippi State? Do y'all know what their nickname was for so many years? The Mississippi. Alabama going up against the Mississippi State Maroons.
Yeah. You know, a good...
Have you ever heard of...
As a sports writer, I picked up on something that probably most people haven't. Most nicknames are plural. Bulldogs, Tigers. There's very few teams that have a singular nickname.
What's more imposing than this right here? Look.
Like the Stanford, I'm going to give you an example. The
Gators.
The Stanford Cardinal, the color.
That's right.
And I always said the Crimson Tide, the tide is singular. You say the tide is coming in, right? You don't say the tide are rolling in. It's for one thing. But then you see headline writers that say the Crimson Tide are playing Saturday. And I always say, no, it's the tide is playing.
Okay, this team came from the north.
You got the Syracuse
Orange.
That's a few.
Well, they're really good. The Orange Man, though. They're really the Orange Man.
Well, they changed their name to the Orange.
Oh, they did?
Politically correct. Yeah,
okay.
It's a political issue.
The Green Wave is playing Saturday, not are playing Saturday, yeah. But the AP style says that all team nicknames, they use them as plural, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't sound right to say it when you use the plural verb.
Here's something that'll surprise you a little bit. On football games tomorrow, Auburn High School is loaded to the hilt, and they play at Dothan. Enterprise has got to go all the way to Mobile to play Davison. Opelika plays at Eufaula. Eufaula got beat last week, Mike, by a good friend of mine.
Yeah, I saw that. Robert E. Lee been 25-10, I think.
That's right. Robert E. Lee is loaded this year. Headland is at Greenville. Rehoboth is at Carroll High of Ozark. Strawn is at Ashford. Geneva is at Dale County. Daleville is at New Brockton. They're going to play that game at Bates Field. So New Brockton's going to play at Enterprise.
We need to mention, a real tragic accident happened with a Park Crossing quarterback. I saw where Spanish Fort honored him over the weekend in Mobile. Their star quarterback died right before the season in an ATV accident.
No.
Park Crossing. I want to say his last name was Hope. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I've been reading articles about it. And he was a really good quarterback and actually died before the first game in an ATV accident. So we never mentioned that on the
I know. I didn't know about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, something that was brought to my attention. I haven't seen it yet, but on television now there's a story about a quarterback. I want to say, was it at Mississippi State or it's a movie that they made from this terrible story. Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
Vaguely.
Prater. Wait a minute. But somebody told me they watched it and said it was excellent, but I don't remember it happening. Do you know anything about it, Mike?
No, I'd have to look that up. We didn't even mention pro football starts tonight. You got the
oh yeah, I know it. We need to.
Super Bowl champs. Kansas City hosts Houston tonight.
And I didn't know until yesterday when I finally read it that 26 of the NFL teams are not going to allow fans at games. So what are there, 32 teams?
Oh boy.
So that the few six that are going to allow fans are going to just be a trivial amount, a couple of thousand. I think Kansas City is one of the teams that's going to allow a few people, but it won't be many.
I'm going to finish these high school games, then we'll come back to the college and the pros. Daleville, as I mentioned, is playing at New Brockton, but the game will be played at Bates Field, which is the old Enterprise High School field, that was destroyed by the tornado.
I played some junior high games there.
Op at Houston Academy. Ops are loaded, but Houston Academy's got a good team. That'll be a good game. Slocum at Providence Christian. Goshen has to travel to Childersburg. That's a long ways. That's a 2.5 hour drive at least, wouldn't you say, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about probably about 30 miles from Birmingham.
Yeah, what you would do to get there is go to the Evergreen Wilsonville exit and take a right and go to Wilsonville and go all the way over to Harpersville, and you'll be right there pretty much. Or you can go up Highway 231. You can go to Wetumpka and go up 231 to go to Childersburg.
This guy has been everywhere.
Yeah, that could you could go Clinton as well and cut over Clinton if you wanted to do it that way. I did that when Charles Henderson played Childersburg. How in the world are they playing Childersburg? I wonder.
They're in their region now. Childersburg is in the Goshen region. Let me tell you a little bit about Childersburg. The colors are blue and white. They're located up on the river. There would be east of Birmingham. But a good friend of mine who married a girl named Alice K. Ward from outside of Troy, out in the country, who was a cheerleader at Troy High School and Charles Henderson High School, well, she met a guy named Johnny Shoemaker. And they got married. And Johnny Shoemaker and Alice Kay were legends over in Eufaula at Lakeside Academy. Johnny Shoemaker. But the rest of the story about Johnny Shoemaker, back in the early 60s, 60 or 61, Howard College came to Troy and beat Troy State Teachers College 80-0. And the quarterback on that team, coached by Bobby Bowden, was Johnny Shoemaker from Childersburg, Alabama. Now you know the rest of the story.
He played for Coach Bowden.
Now let me tell you another story. Now all you historians, you hear this. The first town in the United States of America. The first town in the United States of America was Childersburg, Alabama. Founded in 1580 something. Did you know that? All right, let me tell you something. I heard this on the radio. Mike, you know who I heard it from, don't you?
It's Jamestown.
My Wallace. No, it's not Jamestown. It's Wallace. I heard them last night on their radio show. Wallace. What's his name?
Rick and Bubba? I don't know.
No, the Wallace is here in Troy.
Oh yeah, Cotton Chip.
Chip Colley. Chip Wallace. Always knows all this information, and he said that Childersburg, Alabama, was founded by DeSoto, Ferdinand de Soto, in 1580 something. And that's right. DeSoto Cavern, named after DeSoto, and that when he came across the ocean, he ended up high in the world in Childersburg, Alabama. But that's where they was. They must come up the river. And they claim that Childersburg, Alabama is the oldest town in America.
I like it, yeah.
Well, look it up.
What's the St. Augustine, Florida has some kind of claim to
that's
be
right.
one of those.
St. Augustine was but they claim that DeSoto came in there before Columbus and all those folks.
Yeah, they claim it. I like it.
Yeah.
Might be true.
I've always wanted to ask you this personal question, Rice. April showers bring May flowers. What do May flowers bring?
They bring June bugs.
No, look. April showers bring May flowers. What do May flowers bring? They bring pilgrims.
I don't think it's April.
All right, we'll get away from that. Goshen's going to have a hard time.
He must have went on Wikipedia, because this is what Wikipedia says. Childersburg is a city in Talladega County in the United States of Alabama. U.S. state of Alabama. It was incorporated in 1889, so that's when it was incorporated. At the 2010 census, the population was 5,175. It claims a history dating back before 1540, when it was noted a village of the Coosa Nation visited by Spaniard explorer Fernando de Soto. So that's kind of what I guess he was reading and talking about.
Yeah, let's see who this is. This somebody Mike can help us here. Good morning, you're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Hey, Will Matthews. We're having a big time here. I'm going to bring you in with Mike Amos here in a second, right here. And we got 1 and 2. Now I got both of you. Will Matthews calling in from Ozark. We're looking at some games this weekend.
Did you know that Childersburg was the first city in America?
No, that's wrong.
No, that's right. Now listen.
St. Augustine.
I know. Well, that's what Rice said, but we got it dating back to 1540.
Childersburg claims that they were discovered by DeSoto in 1540. That claim's out there. I'm not saying I endorse that or don't endorse it, but
no, it's St. Augustine, Florida, and then about 30, 40 years later, Jamestown was.
Okay. Of course, he's our attorney, ladies and gentlemen, from the Matthews Law practice.
Mike, I majored in history at Vanderbilt. I'll assure you.
Oh gosh, and he went to Vanderbilt. He knows more than everybody.
You know, I'm a history buff, and I love my state, but I'd never heard that about Childersburg before. But now I get what they're saying, that DeSoto must have passed through and christened it a city.
All right, I'm going to ask you 2 trivia questions to find out if you're really a Vanderbilt graduate. One former Vanderbilt graduate, Vanderbilt quarterback, played for the Chicago Bears. Name him.
Jay Cutler.
Wade.
You're right. Billy Wade was the quarterback.
Also Jay Cutler.
No, well, all right. But also, there were a great basketball team. And that starting 5, they were nicknamed the F Troop. Name every one of them.
Well, the F Troop was actually Jeff Fosnis, Butch Spear, and Joe Ford were the F Troop. That's 3 of the starters. Bill Ligon was on there, and Jan Van Bredikoff was on there.
All right, but the Van Bredikoff was the other one I was thinking about. But it's Fosnis, Spear, Ford, and
Van Bredikoff.
And Bill Ligon. Well, maybe I'll say that maybe you did go to Vanderbilt to school. And of course, it is one of the top academic schools in the country. But you decided that you would go to law school in Tuscaloosa. Is that right?
Well, I'll tell you this for all Alabama fans. My freshman year at Vandy, they used to play 18 games in the conference. They played every team home and away. There were 9 other teams, or 10 teams total. Vanderbilt went 16-2. Alabama went 16-2. Back then, only one team went to the NCAA. That's hard to believe.
Yeah, I was at that game.
And Vanderbilt went because they beat Alabama both times. That was Alabama's 2 losses.
They beat them on a Saturday afternoon somehow. I was at that game with Moon.
Terry Compton stole the ball from Odom, who was holding it for the last shot, and went in for a layup. They beat Alabama by 2.
Oh, man.
And, of course, Vanderbilt was a great free throw shooting team. They beat you at the free throw line. I think they hit 28 out of 29 free throws in that game. And the game was played at Tuscaloosa. That's what makes it so hard.
Yeah, the second game. Both games that year, Alabama lost by 2 points. Obviously they couldn't go to the NCAA. They were offered the NIT bid, and CM Newton turned them down.
Mike, they were led by a guy, a 6'11" guy named Moon.
Douglas was the center.
Leon Douglas.
That must have been the year after that must have been the team that lost to Indiana. And
You're exactly right.
And that Indiana guy took it away from him at half court, if you remember right. He took it away and drove the length of the court, or half the court, and slammed it in to beat him. You remember that?
That was an Alabama basketball team that could have won the national championship.
That's right. No question.
And that was the team Indiana had. And you know what? I think that's the last undefeated basketball team there's been.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Which one was that? The Indiana team? Yeah.
Yeah.
76.
Yeah. All right. Let me finish. Running these.
Final Four, but they didn't win the national championship.
Right. Now, Will, I want you to call in and give us your picks this year on Friday, or Thursday or Friday, whichever day you want to do it. But we'll go by the number.
He did the points spread. He did pretty good last year.
I
remember.
Your teams that.
Kansas City's 9.5 against Houston tonight, over under 54.
I think Kansas City will beat them by 3 or 4 touchdowns.
I think they will too. But now, just how much pressure they can get on the quarterback.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson, the former Clemson quarterback, just signed for $190 million.
He is a good player. That's going to be a heck of a game tonight. It's going to be a great game. But
I don't know if y'all remember this or not, but Houston last year in the playoffs was ahead of Kansas City 24-0 and got blown out.
I remember that. Yeah. If you can block those two ends, you got a chance against Houston. But whether or not you can block Watts or not, he's a great one. Want to mention a few. Of course, that game is on national TV, and also let's give us a pick here on University of UAB against Miami.
UAB Miami will be on the ACC network tonight, but if you have ESPN Plus, which is $4.99 a month.
Well, see, I want ESPN Plus, and I can't get it. Nobody tells me how I can get it.
Well, it's on the ESPN app, so if you have a smart TV, you would be able to pick it up.
Well,
you can watch it on your phone or your computer. But that game tonight will be at 7 o'clock. You'll have Miami 14.5-point favorite right now, over under 55.
What now again? 14 over under 55?
Yeah, over under 55. Miami's a 14.5-point favorite against UAB.
I tell you what, UAB's a pretty good football team, and they've got a very good quarterback, don't you think, Mike?
Well, I mean, he's been their starter for 3 years.
And the kid that came out of Mobile, didn't he?
Spanish Fort.
Oh, Spanish Fort, which is Mobile,
UAB has a lot of players back. I've read Mike's football magazine, and they have a real experienced team. Almost all their starters are seniors or juniors.
Right, so you gonna be able to give us those scores this week? The ones that you like so much?
Or Will?
Will, excuse me.
Yeah, tonight I like the over in that game. I don't like who knows about 14 and a half.
Yeah, you're right.
You don't ever know. But I think both teams will score a pile of points, so I like the over in that game.
Okay, so that should be a good one. Want to mention a few more games coming up. Mike, give us some college games coming up. Of course, I want to mention New Brockton's playing at Elba. Excuse me. I told a story. Dadeville is playing at Pike County. Finally, Pike County gets to play a football game against Dadeville from Bulldog Stadium this Friday night. Cottonwood at Abbeville, Arrington at Geneva County, going up against that great running back. Zion Chapel is at Elba. G.W. Long is at Houston County. Kinston's at Red Level. Pleasant Homes at Sampson. Charles Simpson is off. And Pike Liberal Arts plays host to Lee Scott, a big school out of Opelika. I think they're the largest school in the Alabama independent schools. And but our buddy's not coaching up there anymore, is he, Mike?
No, Robert Maddox retired.
Robert Maddox did retire. So, but that Lee Scott game is going to be played at Pike Liberal Arts, 7 o'clock kickoff tomorrow night. So we'll be watching that. Anything else real right now that jumps out at you as far as college football? It's really going to be a slow week of college football. Don't you agree?
You got the ACC and the Big 12 playing.
Yeah. Will jumped off, evidently off our line.
Well, now he's just driving. You can't hear him for some reason.
you hear every word it says, don't you?
You might have had a client call in.
You got Syracuse playing at UNC. That's North Carolina. This is a very strange line to me. I mean, Syracuse won 10 games a couple of years ago, but North Carolina's a 23-point favorite.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's our game tonight.
Yeah. Can you believe that this game live tonight, Mike? You'll get a kick out of this. Grissom out of Huntsville, who has a team, one of the best teams they've ever had, versus Sparkman. And Sparkman's the place in Huntsville. Of course, Sparkman's a 7A, so is Grissom. And they'll be playing on TC2 tonight, starting at 7 o'clock, or on Channel 17. It'll be on Channel 17 tonight.
Those are the games that I think Rick Rhodes is doing the color commentating on.
Right. But Sparkman, Mike, is a place that a lot of talent comes from, don't you think?
Yeah, that's interesting. What is that? Just a package Troy Cable has with the Alabama Hospital Athletic Association?
Yeah, that's right.
Where they show all their games.
Yeah, they show one game of the week or two, and some company that's syndicating them to any cable company, I guess, that'll choose to run them. But the production value is very, very good. It looks like a college game.
Yeah, Steve, we're going to do who's going to be our high school game this week? Do you know on Friday? Pike Lib will be on the air tonight. So Pike Lib
Friday tomorrow night.
America's team. Everybody's the Pike Lib.
America's team. You're right.
Pike Lib versus Lee Scott. That's a big game.
They just changed the name of their. Y'all excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I got to do this. They just changed the name of Pike Liberal Arts to the Pike Liberal Arts All Stars. They have got all kinds of talent on that team, and they'll be going up against Lee Scott. And Lee Scott's got a fine football team, but I don't know if they can stay with Pike Liberal Arts.
They haven't?
Yeah, they're 0-2.
Lee Scott's been struggling.
I remember living in my Opie Taylor days in Opelika, Alabama.
Opie Taylor days.
And it was, back then you had Lee Academy and Scott Academy. You had two private schools. So I knew people that went to Lee Academy and Scott Academy. And at some point they merged, and it became Lee Scott Academy.
Any other games jump out at you?
Well, I mean, you got Appalachian State. Of course, they're supposed to win the Sun Belt. They're 17-point favorite, hosting Charlotte. You got
Isn't it amazing how Charlotte had built that program so fast, and how did they become a Division 1A team so fast?
You've also got Arkansas State out of the Sun Belt playing at Kansas State, so that'd be an interesting game.
I wouldn't doubt if Arkansas State didn't play them tough, or might win the game. What's that line?
That line is 10.5.
Boy, I think I'd jump all over Arkansas State in that game. Arkansas State's a pretty good football team.
They just played Memphis. They played Memphis pretty tough, 37-24. Another game of interest. Neil Brown, Troy's former coach, West Virginia, will open the season against Eastern Kentucky. There's actually a line on this, 40.5.
Oh boy! Well, I tell you what, that Eastern Kentucky team I saw play last week was terrible. Of course, they played Marshall, and We Are Marshall was loaded to the hilt.
Another interesting game. Of course, Troy was supposed to already play La Monroe. La Monroe was able to get ready for Army, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because Army blew out Middle Tennessee. But Army will be a 20.5-point favorite against La Monroe.
Well, that's a good segue to mention the fact that Mike and I ate lunch or breakfast at Bird Drugs yesterday with Scott Rainey and his wife Elaine.
Sure did.
And Scott is a graduate of West Point and was on the football team for 3 years at West Point back in the day.
And his wife is also from West Point, and that's how they met.
That's right. She was they had. Not integrated, but they allowed female cadets a couple years before Scott went, and he met his wife at West Point. She was on the swim team. She was a swimmer at West Point.
Of course, Scott came out of this family, the world famous Rainey family out of Greenville, Alabama. Tuffy and Tuffy Rainey and Lyle Rainey were two great athletes.
Jack Rainey and Dad remembered Dad met Mr. Rainey at a church camp over the summer that everybody went to. But he said back then he was Jackie Rainey.
Yeah.
Well, like my dad was Billy Rice and became Bill, and Jackie became Jack.
And Jack Rainey was a great athlete at Greenville High School, and of course, he came over to Troy to work.
I'll tell you a brag on my friend Scott, and he's one of my best friends.
National Bank.
Scott was his brother Todd was a great athlete, but Scott was a great athlete too. His senior year, Mike, he was first team All-State as a free safety. He led the state in interceptions. In a 10-game season, Scott had 8 interceptions that year.
Yeah, he was a very good athlete. And also kicked at
he was the backup punter for 3 years at Army, so he was on the football team. But he was a real good athlete. But at Army, he was the punter, which is kind of funny. He kicked for 2 years at Charles Henderson, but his senior year, he got beat out by Jim Williford. Who was an all-state punter. He was a great punter.
Yeah.
And so Scott was a great punter, so the team had 2 great punters and only one could punt, and it was Jim.
Scott, of course, I asked him, the first thing that came to my mind was, I wonder how many Army-Navy games he'd been at. And I said, how cold was it? He said it was the coldest he ever been in his life. Of course, the game was played in Philadelphia every year. And he said it was usually always in December. And it was cold. And I think he said he played on 1 or 2 teams.
I don't know how many they won, but they had a pretty good team one of his years. My friend Charles Bradshaw and I went to see Scott when Army played Tennessee in Neyland Stadium, and Army tied Tennessee. That
was something, wasn't it? Yeah.
But Scott was, one year he didn't play football, and he was just a cadet in the stands, and then the other 3 years he was on the field.
And they've got a lot better looking uniforms now, but every time Army and Navy played, Navy would come out in good looking solid gold helmets and all that, and then Army come out in the ugliest uniform I think I've ever seen in my life. And I know uniforms don't mean anything, but gosh, Navy had the game won before the game started. Because all those folks over there were throwing up because of the way their uniform looked. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Well,
old black and brown. It was something sort of like that,
Well, we talked about, Troy is going to play Army 5 times in the next 10 years or so. And everybody says one of the prettiest settings for a college football game is at West Point. And Scott agrees. He said, so if any of us get the chance to make a road trip, we need to go up to West Point and see Troy play.
I would go to every game. I'd stay in New York City and
that's pretty long way from West Point, I think, though.
Really? Yeah, it's up in the mountains.
I thought it would be the Pocono Mountains, but he said it wasn't. But the big river.
It's the foothills of the Adirondack.
And then the big river is still up there, the Hudson.
Yeah.
River is up at the top of that. Of course.
Yeah, everybody says that's one of the more beautiful places to go to a game. So I think a lot of people will try to make that trip.
Mike, any other college games that jump out at you this week?
Yeah, I mean, you got Notre Dame hosting Duke. It'll be interesting to see that game. Florida State, Georgia Tech, I think will be an interesting game.
I believe Florida State will wear them out.
You got Texas State, who came off playing well against SMU. They'll be hosting University of Texas San Antonio. You'll have another game that I think people will be interested in is the South Alabama hosting Tulane in their new stadium. So
Tulane will beat them. Tulane will beat them 2, maybe 3 touchdowns. You watch. Tulane's got a good football team.
The line started at 10.5 and it's gone down to 8.5. So a lot of people are jumping on South Alabama.
Yeah, playing in that new stadium for the first time. I wouldn't mind going to that game if somebody wants to take me. I wouldn't mind going to that game.
Well, it'd be probably hard to get in. I would imagine they're only going to probably let season ticket holders in. I would think.
Yeah, it will be hard. That's what concerns me so much is how even in Middle Tennessee, I right now, no tickets available from this side for the game. Of course, I'm sure they're all over the place at Middle Tennessee. You might have to call SubHub or somebody like that to get your tickets.
Well,
interesting game late that night. It'll be the latest game of the day. It's Kansas hosting Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina actually beat Kansas last year, so Kansas is only a 7-point favorite against a Sun Belt school at home. I'll tell you what Vegas thinks of Kansas.
Yeah, that's right. I got a feeling I sort of like Kansas here, and he's had a year to get his own players. I sort of like Kansas here.
I wonder about the odds makers making these lines. They got to be doing a lot of guesswork. It's like the BYU Navy game. The line was 1 point at kickoff.
Oh gosh!
BYU wins by 52.
Oh man, you're exactly right.
So I've seen it in high school football and there's a lot of blowouts for whatever reason. The lopsided games.
Well, our show's going to be tomorrow.
Yeah, the Navy coach has made national headlines. He's actually come out and apologized, and actually said that he felt going into the game they really had no chance, and that it was going to take a miracle to beat BYU, just due to the fact they've had no live scrimmages, no live practicing. I mean, that's one of the more crazier situations ever for a pick'em.
Yeah.
At one point, I think BYU finally went to 1.
Oh yeah, isn't that crazy?
I mean, can you imagine that? Can you imagine the people out in Vegas?
Oh man,
that heard that the sports book.
And that great fullback for Navy, I got something like 20 yards rushing or something like that. It was unreal.
I mean, can you imagine the people scrambling trying to get to?
Yeah, you had about 5 minutes after he did that interview to get your bets in.
All right, quickly.
Up there to place a bet on BYU.
All right, well, thank you. Now, get ready for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. It's the first edition of the Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeeps and Ram Trucks Picks of the Week, brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Trucks on the bypass right here in Troy. And that picket show will start right at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Right on this show, we'll pick high school and college games of interest. We might throw in a pro game, but I doubt it. Right now, get ready to see 2 good games tonight, which will not be, I'll ask y'all who do y'all like. Of course, you like Miami or UAB?
Miami.
I take Miami.
I like Miami.
To win the game.
I actually think they'll beat them by a couple touchdowns. I think that line is pretty close to being accurate. Now, tonight, I like Houston to play Kansas City pretty tough tonight. I think Kansas City's coming off a Super Bowl championship, and they just got their rings. They might come out a little flat tonight. So I'll take Houston to not win, but cover that 10 points.
Okay,
that's what winners are made of. There you go.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed our show, and you'll be with us tomorrow for our first picket show of the year, and we look forward to it. And yours truly, along with Bill Rice and hopefully Jason Gregory and Michael from Graydon Beach, and we'll be looking forward to that. And of course, Forrest Lee, we'll be looking for that tomorrow right here on our show. Have a great day.